Okay, I have a 2007 Volkswagen EOS. This car came in having issues primarily related to the top leaking, the hard top convertible part leaking, and as you can see, the seats were in really bad shape, so I ripped all of that stuff out, ripped out all the old interior, and I put in an interior from a newer car, 2012 EOS. I got really lucky, found the 2012 EOS interior, so the interior is now in pretty good shape. Had to replace the interior components. But the other problem with this car is when you turn the key, it would not start. It would not crank. I'm sorry, it would not crank. It just would stare at you. It wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do anything. Just would just sit there and look at you. So the previous owner, before I bought it, told me that he had to jump the relay right here, and this relay here activates the ECM and other components. So I think they call it the master relay. So here's a picture of my Autel scanner and what it said regarding the codes. And one of those codes was for the relay. So that relay, even though it's taken out, he just jumped it in order for the car to start. So clearly, you know, if we look at the wiring harness diagram, which I was able to get off AllData, we look at that diagram, we'll see that this is a very simple circuit. It's, you know, once we check the fuses, you know, we see that there was positive on one side of the circuit, but there was no ground on the other side of the circuit that was controlling the relay. So that came down to really only one of two things. Either the wiring harness has a problem or the computer has a problem. So I went on ahead and removed the ECM. Basically, it was underneath the windshield wipers. And so after removing that, I saw what what appeared to be some sort of rodent nest of some sort. And I was able to move the ECM out of the way, use my vacuum cleaner to vacuum out the rodent nest. And, you know, it wasn't a very big one, but it was a little bit of stuff underneath it. And as I was looking, I noticed, I've already started taking it apart now, but I noticed that there was a little bit of an exposed, a bit of wiring here. I could actually see some copper here. And sure enough, this wire here, which, you know, as you can see on the wiring diagram, that wire was indeed open. But it, you know, I didn't see it immediately. It took me a while before I noticed just a little bit of an opening in the black cover that they use. And sure enough, there was this wire right here that was a little bit chaffed. Well, the purple wire is also chaffed here, but that doesn't appear to be a problem at this time. So now at this point, I will be using what I've built here, kind of a wire here with weatherproof fittings to go in there and actually see if you can see it. Let's see. And jumper that right there. So once I do that, I will then try to restart the vehicle. Once I restart the vehicle, it should be fixed. But that's just showing you the importance of getting that wiring diagram. And, you know, you have a situation where something just looks really weird, probably a good idea to double check your wiring, especially in places where rodents can hide. Because I was able to connect my meter from, you know, the number that was in the diagram on one side, and then on the other side, right down in my box here, and I did not see continuity. So that's why I knew. I said, well, it's got to be something in here. And sure enough, that was it. So I'm going to go ahead and install the jumper, and then we'll see what happens next. And just so you know, I mean, I'm using dielectric grease here because that is underneath the windshield wipers. That whole area is not protected from the rain or anything. So, you know, these little connectors here. So going into here, after I've put on the, let's see if I can get a good picture here. There we go. After putting on the connectors, it's just a matter of really heating the connector up so that the connector has, it's able to heat up, and it's 33 degrees out here, so my torch is not really working very well. Ah, man, that's caught it on fire. Ah, it's not enough heat, so I'm gonna now the torch is not hot enough, so I'm gonna have to come back and get another torch or try to heat it up some. Okay, so now that we've put our relay back in, we've hooked up our positive cable. We're going to go ahead and try to crank it, see if it works now with the relay in place. Like I said, he thought that there was an issue because it just would not do anything when you turn the key over to crank. And yeah, I mean, it just was a situation where he let it sit for a long time, which probably is why there was a rodent nest in there. So we'll see what happens. Make sure I'm in neutral. There we go. So it runs just fine. So yep, that's all there is to it. Just making sure you check the wiring harness. If there is an issue, it could very well be just something as simple as checking for rodents if it's been sitting for a while. You know, look at your schematics, check your fuses, of course, and if when in doubt, probably just start pulling ECMs and looking down in there to see if there's anything wrong. So far so good. Now I have to go ahead and patch all this back up. I'll see you all later.